Again, this young generation, because of all the reasons we've talked about and more, seems to exhibit the traits of being very conflict avoidant, very uncomfortable with uncomfortable. That has some impact that are sometimes funny, quote unquote, but always tend to make somebody feel more lonely. So for example, and I've seen this happen, I've heard about these stories so many times, a young employee who may feel they're in line for a raise, but is so uncomfortable to go to their boss and ask for a raise that they just quit, that they would rather quit than have an uncomfortable conversation. And then sometimes it is followed by an angry email that says, I'm undervalued, you don't appreciate me, you underpay me, And I've heard it happen so many times where the leadership is like, what? We would have happily, I'm sorry, we were either planning on giving you a raise, we'd happily give you a raise, And it's really uncomfortable to walk in your boss's office and be like, hey, I'm working really hard, can I have a raise, please? But again, it's really funny how many young kids they would rather quit than have a difficult conversation, or they'd rather break up than have a difficult conversation. Or worse, they'd rather ghost someone than break up with them. Because it's really uncomfortable to have a fight and a breakup and call each other names. That is trauma. Because you're uncomfortable to have an uncomfortable conversation. How dare somebody do that to another human being? Because you're just a little uncomfortable of having an uncomfortable conversation. Where we can help is we can teach people how to have uncomfortable conversations. That is a skill set. We don't teach leaders how to have uncomfortable conversations. We don't teach students how to have uncomfortable conversations. We don't teach, we can teach these things all over the place. And I think it's a big gaping hole in curriculum.